In this video we're gonna do integrals part 3, and these are called definite integrals. Now when I'm talking about definite integrals, basically we need to do the same thing we did for indefinite integrals, but we need to substitute numbers. So if I'm looking at this one, I'll start integrating in this way. So what is the integral of 2x alone? The 2 is a number multiplied by x. I don't care about it, just leave it as it is. So 2 multiplied by, what is the integral of x? X has exponent 1, so its integral will be x squared over 2. So if you don't remember the rule, this is the rule. Integral of x exponent n dx is x exponent n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. Now another rule that you should not forget, which is integral of k dx. Whenever you have a number and you're doing integral of that number alone, just add x next to it. So now what is the integral of 5? It is basically 5x. Now in this case we don't need to add plus c. If you have definite integral, you can just directly write from 2 to 5. So you need to write the numbers on the side. Here we can note that the 2 and 2 will cancel, and we get, the first time you're gonna substitute the 5 instead of the x, so you will get 5 squared plus 5 multiplied by 5 minus, you substitute now the 2 and you get 2 squared plus 5 multiplied by 2. Now calculating this, it will be 25 plus 25, which is 50, minus 4 plus 10, which is 14, and our answer will be 36. Now it's still correct if you do it with a c. So if you write the integral as 2x squared over 2 plus 5x plus c, and you substitute the 2 and the 5, it's still correct. You need to do the following. So the 2 and the 2 will cancel, and we substitute the 5. You will write 5 squared plus 5 times 5 plus c, minus, when you substitute the 2, you get 2 squared plus 5 times 2 plus c. Now when you do it, you're gonna get 50 plus c for the first, minus, and for these two you get 14 plus c in parentheses. Distribute the minus now, and you will get 50 plus c minus 14 minus c. Now as you can notice, the c and the minus c will cancel out, and we get the same answer, which is 36. Number 2. This question, they're telling you find the integral from 0 to 1 of 60x over 3x squared minus 2 all squared. Whenever we have something down, I cannot really work with it, so I have to bring it up. So integral from 0 to 1 of 60x multiplied by 3x squared minus 2 exponent negative 2 dx will become, so if we have parentheses and there is a function of x inside, or something in terms of x inside, directly I start by saying let u equals to 3x squared minus 2, and I find du over dx, which is the derivative. In this case it is 6x. The minus 2, its derivative is 0, so we don't write it. Proceeding from here, you can cross multiply, and you get du to be 6x dx. Now I will rewrite the integral in terms of u. So this integral will change from 0 to 1, 60x 3x squared minus 2 exponent negative 2 dx. Now I want you to notice one thing. The 60, instead of the 60, can we write 10 times 6? Yes. Now some of you will be asking why 10 times 6? Why, for example, it's not 4 times 15? It's because of the following. I need to have dx multiplied by x multiplied by 6 for us to replace it by du. So that's why I chose 6 times 10 instead of 60. Now, do I have 6? Yes. Do I have the x? Yes. Do I have the dx? Yes. Now, I proceed by writing the integral from 0 to 1. Instead of 6x dx, it will be du. Instead of 3x squared minus 2, I know it is u, and the exponent is negative 2. Now we still have this 10. What should I do with it? I don't need it inside. You can take it outside the integral. Next, this looks exactly the same as if you are doing integral x exponent negative 2 dx. Same letter here and here. So u and du, you apply the same rule as the one we know from before. So this will change to 10 multiplied by negative 2 plus 1, it becomes minus 1, over the same thing, which is minus 1. Plus c, we can write it, but no need. Now, I don't write here from 0 to 1. Why is that? Because the 0 and the 1 are x values, and so far I'm writing u, so I should not write the 0 to 1 in this step. However, I wait and I will substitute now u by 3x squared minus 2, and there I will write from 0 to 1. Now 10 divided by negative 1, it becomes negative 10. You can bring this one down if you want to make it a positive exponent. It becomes u exponent 1. No need to write exponent 1 and no need to write u. You can directly write it as 3x squared minus 2 in this way. Now once you have x, you are allowed to write it from 0 to 1, and let's replace. We get minus 10 over 3 times 1 squared minus 2, minus, we replace the 0, so it's minus 10 over 3 times 0 squared minus 2, and we get minus 10 over, this is 3, minus 2, which is 1, minus 10 over, this is 0, minus 2, which is minus 2. So we get minus 2 minus, we get minus 10 minus, and this number is 5. So our answer will be minus 15. All right. Now, let's say you have this question and they ask you that w of x is equal to integral from, or they don't give you the numbers here. Let's say they write 60x over 3x squared minus 2 all squared like this. You're gonna integrate and you get at the end minus 10 over 3x squared minus 2 plus c, as we did. Now, if they ask you, let me add one more page. Now, that's fine, I'll use the one down. If they tell you, find w0 minus w1, like this. It means they want you to substitute 0 the first time, then substitute 1 the next time in this, because this is w of x, then subtract the two answers you get. So if they ask you w0 minus w1, you do w of 0 on the side, which is minus 10 over 3x squared minus 2 plus c. Instead of the x, I'm going to replace 0. So it becomes minus 10 over negative 2, which is 5 plus c. Now, w of 1, you replace 1 instead of the x. So you get minus 10 plus c. Now, if they ask you w0 minus w1, you do 5 plus c minus 10 plus c, which is 5 plus c plus 10 minus c. These two will cancel and the answer here will be positive 15. So please pay attention to the question and how you're solving. Alright, now number 3. Integral from 1 to 4 of f of x dx is 11. Integral from 2 to 4 of f of x dx is negative 9. We need to find the integral from 1 to 2 of 4 multiplied by f of x. Now, before you do any of this, you need to know some properties of the integral, which is if you have integral from a to b of f of x dx, and you choose a number between a and b. So let c be a number between a and b. Then you are allowed to do the following. You can do integral from a to c first. You stop at c. Then you continue from c to b on a separate integral. And this is actually very helpful. Now, let's check between the 3 integrals we have. Which one has the biggest interval? Yani from 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 or 1 to 2. Clearly from 1 to 4 we have the largest interval. So I should start with the big one. From 1 to 4 f of x dx equals integral from 1 to, I can see we have 2. So I need to stop at 2 somewhere. Plus I continue from 2 to 4 to this number. Now let's substitute what we have. The first one is given to us 11. From 1 to 2 is the one we need to find. So if you want to call it k, you can. Plus integral from 2 to 4 is negative 9. So to find k, basically, you need to move the negative 9 to the other side. You get 11 plus 9. And k is equal to 20. Now when I say k equals to 20, it means the integral from 1 to 2 of f of x dx equals 20. But now they're not asking for this. They're asking integral from 1 to 2 of 4 f of x dx. It means you should multiply your integral by 4. Why is that? Because we are allowed to take the 4 out and write it in this way. So basically 4 multiplied the integral from 1 to 2 of f of x dx is 20. And our answer here will be 80. Now, let's look at this question. Integral from a to 27 of 7x cube root of x. Whenever we have something like this, it's better to combine them in 1x and then find the integral. So integral from a to 27 of 7x multiplied by, now cube root of x is x exponent 1 over 3. Now the x has an exponent 1, which is equal to integral from 8 to 27 of 7 multiplied by x exponent 1 plus 1 over 3. So I need to combine them. So it's integral from 8 to 27 of 7 multiplied by x exponent 4 over 3 dx. So you can use calculator to do this. So 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1, which is 4 over 3. So we get 4 over 3. Now I'm allowed to do the actual integral. The 7, I don't need it because it's a number multiplied by x, so it stays the same. And I will apply the rule. So 4 over 3 plus 1 over 4 over 3 plus 1. Now we have plus c here. I don't need to write plus c again because I'm gonna substitute 8 and 27. Equals 7 multiplied by x exponent 4 over 3 plus 1 is 7 over 3, and down we have 7 over 3. From where to where? From 8 to 27. Now what happens to the fraction in the denominator? So whenever you divide by a fraction, you need to flip it and write it up. So it becomes times 3 over 7 like this, x exponent 7 over 3. From where to where? From 8 to 27. As you can notice, 7 and 7 can cancel, so you get 3x exponent 7 over 3 from 8 to 27. Now if you prefer, because there is a number multiplied inside this, if you want to take it out, you are allowed to do it, and you are allowed to do this. If you want to keep it inside, that's also fine. So now my final answer will be 3, and I will replace the 27 minus, I will replace the 8, and we calculate this answer on the calculator. Number 5. A curve for which the double derivative or the second derivative is 12x minus 48 has a stationary point at 2, 5. Part A, find the equation of the curve. Part B, find the x-coordinate of the other stationary point. And part C, determine the nature of the stationary points. Now, you should remember one thing, which is, if you have y, you want to get y prime, you do derivative. So you differentiate. Then from y prime to get y double prime, you need to do derivative one more time. The way back, so if you have y double prime or the second derivative, you want to go back to the first derivative, you should integrate. So you do integral one time. From y prime to y, also you have to integrate. Now, let's start with this question. You are given y double prime to be 12x minus 48. So I can find y prime by doing integral of the second derivative, which is integral of 12x minus 48 dx. Now the 12 stays 12, x becomes x squared over 2, and 48 we just add x to it, plus c. And we don't forget the c, because once you forget it, the rest will be wrong. Now, can we simplify this? So the y prime becomes 6x squared minus 48x plus c. They gave you a very important given, a stationary point at 2, 5. Now remember before, when we were doing table of variations, when we say stationary point, I should mention that y prime is equal to 0 at the given x value. And the x value here for the stationary point is 2. So I know that if I substitute instead of x2, I know that the y prime will be 0. Let's do this. So 0 equals 6 times 2 squared minus 48 times 2 plus c. This will give me 0 equals 6 times 4 is 24. 48 times 2 is 96 plus c. Now, we can calculate this one. We get 0 equals negative 72 plus c. So from here, I can have c equals, you move the minus 72 to the other side, is 72. So now I know that y prime is equal to 6x squared minus 48x plus 72. Now, the question is find y, the equation of the curve. So I know that y is equal integral of the derivative. So integral of 6x squared minus 48x plus 72 dx, which is The 6 I don't care about it. The x squared becomes x cubed over 3 minus 48. The x becomes x squared over 2. The 72 is just a number, so you need to add x next to it. And at the end, we don't forget the c. Let's simplify. So this becomes 2x cubed minus 24x squared plus 72x plus c. Now, remember, the point 23, which is the stationary point, the stationary point is a point on the curve itself. Always. So you are allowed to substitute the coordinates instead of x and y, whatever you have. So instead of the y we have 3, instead of the x we have 2. So this is what we will do. And from here you can find c, then replace it back in the main equation. So this will give us 16 minus 24 times 4, which is 96, plus 72 times 2 is equal 144 plus c. If you want to simplify these, you can. So we get 3 equals 16 minus 96 is minus 80 plus 144. It will be 64, positive 64. To find c, we take it to the other side. So c will be 3 minus 64, which is negative 61. Now I take this to y, and we get y equals to x cubed minus 24x squared plus 72x minus 61. So this is the answer of part A. For part B, they told you find the stationary points. Now this is easy. I already found y prime, which is 6x squared minus 48x plus 72. You can use y prime equal to 0, so 6x squared minus 48x plus 72 equals 0. Then use mod 53 for this on the calculator, and you will get two x values. One of the x values will be the 2 that you already have, and the other one will be your answer. If they want a full point, you take this x value and you replace it in the y we got here to get the full point. Part C, they're telling you check the stationary points. So use the second derivative test here because it's easier. How do you use the second derivative test? You take the x equals 2 the first time, you replace it in y double prime that is already given to us, 12x minus 48. So here we get 24 minus 48, which is negative 24. Because we got a negative answer, it means at x equals 2 we have a local maximum. If this is a local maximum, the other point here, when we do it, we're gonna get a positive answer for y double prime, and it will be a local minimum. The last question I will do is this one. So you are given f of x to be the integral of the following, and the graph of f of x passes through 1, 0. They're giving you this point for you to find c. So let's integrate, but before doing this, we need to rewrite it. So this is x exponent 1 over 3 plus 3x squared, because we can't work with radical. Now we can't work with denominators, we need to take it up. And now we do the integral. So we get 3 x exponent minus 1 over 3 plus 1 over minus 1 over 3 plus 1 plus 3 multiplied by x cubed over 3 plus c equals 3 times x exponent. Now minus 1 over 3 plus 1, it becomes 2 over 3, and the one down is also 2 over 3, plus this and this can cancel. We get x cubed plus c. Now, as I said, the fraction down should flip and we write it up. And we can notice that 3 times 3 is 9 over 2, x exponent 2 over 3 plus x cubed plus c. So this is basically f of x or y. Now, how to find c? They said the point 1, 0. Look, the point 1, 0 belongs to this function. So you can replace instead of y 0, and instead of x you can replace 1. So we get 0 equals 9 over 2 plus 1 plus c. You can calculate this. It will be 11 over 2. So basically c is equal minus 11 over 2. Now f of x will be 9 over 2 x exponent 2 over 3 plus x cubed plus c. Now you can rewrite this in radical if you want form or in root form, but no need because the question is not asking to simplify. Instead of the c we got it, which is negative 11 over 2. Now the question here, they told you find f of 27. F of 27, it means instead of x, replace 27. Use the calculator and get the answer.